Whether he die in the light of day or under the pig-faced moon, in cabin or dance hall, camp or dive, mucklucks or patent shoon, on velvet tundra or virgin peak by glacier drift or draw, in muskeg hollow or canyon gloom by avalanche fang or claw, by battle, murder, or sudden wealth, by pestilence, hooch, or lead, I swore on the book I would follow and look till I found my tombless dead. For Bill was a dainty kind of a cuss, and his mind was mighty sought on a dinky patch of flowers and grass in a civilized boneyard lot. And where he died or how he died, it didn't matter a dang, so long as he had a grave with frills and a tombstone epigram. So I promised him, and he paid the price in good Chichaco coin, which the same I blowed that very night down at the Tenderloin. Then I painted a 3-foot slab of pine. Here lies poor Bill Mackay. And I hung it up on my cabin wall and waited for Bill to die. Years passed away, and at last one day came a squall of a story strange of a long deserted line of traps way back at the Bighorn Range, of a little hut by the Great Divide and the white man stiff and still, lying there by his lonesome self, and I figured it must be Bill. So I thought of the contract I'd made with him, and I took down from the shelf the swell black box with the silver plate he picked out for himself. Then I packed it full of grub and hooch, and I flung it on the sleigh, and I harnessed up my team of dogs and was off at dawn of day. Do you know what it's like in the Yukon wild when it's 69 below? When the ice worms wriggle their purple heads through the crust of the pale blue snow. When the pine trees crack like little guns in the silence of the wood. And the icicles hang down like tusks under the parka hood. When the mercury is a frozen ball and the frost beam stalks to kill. Well, it was just like that day when I set out to look for Bill. Oh, the awful hush that seemed to crush me down on every hand as I blundered blind with a trail to find through that blank and bitter land. Half dazed, half crazed in the winter wild with its grim, heartbreaking woes and the ruthless strife for a grip on life that only the sourdough knows. North by the compass, north I pressed through rivers and peaks and plains that passed like a dream I slept to lose and wake to dream again. River and plain and mighty peak, and who could stand unawed as their summits blazed, who could stand undazed at the foot of the throne of God. North, I north through a land accursed, shunned by the scouring brutes, and all I heard was my own harsh word and the whine of the Malamutes. Till at last I came to a cabin squat, built in the side of a hill. And I burst in the door, and there on the floor, frozen to death, lay Bill. Ice! White ice like a winding sheet, sheathing each smoke-grimed wall. Ice on the stovepipe, ice on the bed, ice gleaming over all. Sparkling ice on the dead man's chest, glittering ice in his hair, ice in his fingers, ice in his heart, ice in his glassy stare. Hard as a log and trussed like a frog with his arms and legs outspread, I gazed at the coffin I brought for him. Then I gazed at the gruesome dead. And at last I spoke. Bill liked his joke, but still gawked darn his eyes. A man had ought to consider his mates and the way he goes and dies. Have you ever stood in an Arctic hut in the shadow of the pole with a little coffin 6 by 3 and a grief you can't control? Have you ever sat by a frozen corpse that looks at you with a grin and it seems to say you may try all day, but you'll never jam me in? Well, I'm not a man of the quitting kind, but I've never felt so blue as I sat there gazing at that stiff and studying what I'd do. Then I rose and I kicked off the husky dogs that were nosing round about, and I lit a roaring fire in the stove, and I started to thaw Bill out. Well, I thawed for 13 days, but it didn't seem no good. His arms and legs stuck out like pegs, as if they was made of wood. So at last I said, it ain't no use. He's froze too hard to thaw. He's obstinate, and he won't lie straight. So I guess I got to saw. So I sawed off poor Bill's arms and legs, and I laid him snug and straight. In the little coffin he picked himself with the dinky silver plate. And I came nigh near to shedding a tear as I nailed him safely down. And I stowed him away on my Yukon sleigh, and I headed back to town. So I buried him, as the contract was, in a narrow grave and deep. And there he awaits the great cleanup when the judgment sluice heads sweep. And I smoke my pipe and I meditate in the light of the midnight sun. And sometimes I wonder if they was the awful things I've done. And as I sit and the parson talks, expounding of the law, I often think of poor old Bill and how hard he was to saw.